I just wanted to hone in specifically here. It does say that the COVID pandemic was only partly the reason, which I guess begs the question, well, what else? And so I wanted to give you the opportunity to answer that question. What are some of the other reasons that this statement alluded to but didn't specify?
Well, let me start just by recognizing the fans and the fact that it is a bummer, as you said. And I know it's disappointing to people. It's disappointing to us. We were looking forward to the alignment of Halo and the launch of Series X as a really kind of seminal moment almost for Xbox. Thinking back to the original Xbox with Halo CE. But in the end, I have to make the right decision for the game, for the team, and for the overall platform. And I think the strength of the Halo franchise, frankly, the health and stability of the team as people are working really hard on dates, and you're looking at where the builds are, and are things tracking towards the quality that you want to have in the game. And it's a hard decision. Honestly, it's probably a decision 5 or 10 years ago I couldn't have made inside of the company. But now, with the support that we have on the long-term gaming business at Microsoft and the opportunity, I do have that support to make hard calls, which I think in the long run are good for our platform and good for our studio and good for our franchises. But in the near term, obviously, the PR around it's not going to be great. The disappointment, letdown is not going to be great. But I think it's the right call. It's my call to make. So when looking at where we were and the trajectory the team was on, and frankly, just the amount of effort and emotion that 343 is putting into the game and making sure that we want to be able to get the game out and delivered and have a healthy team after that, this was a decision that we made. And I'll apologize to the fans because I never like to set up expectations and then not hit them. But I also believe that we're making the right decision in the long run for both Xbox and Halo and our customers.
Well, and speaking of the fans, I can see a lot of people in the chat right now who, again, I think I echo your own sentiment, which is that this is a bummer, but I think they agree that it was the right, like, no one's happy about it, but they agree that it seems to be the right decision. You touched on this. You are, as the head of Xbox, the buck stops with you. You're the one who ultimately had to kind of weigh everything and make that call. Just, it's a bummer subject, but I'm still fascinated by it because it's such a big deal. Like, this is a huge news story yesterday. Just talk me through the process of making that decision. Like, what was it that brought you to the point where, like, we have to make a decision and we have to make it now? I'm sure it was agonizing to make. I imagine that yesterday or whenever the decision was made was not one of your favorite days in the office. But I guess clearly, I guess the question is, when and how did it become clear to you that you were going to have to bite this bullet?
Yeah, it's a good question. And we made the decision late last week, and I say we, Bonnie Ross, who runs 343, Matt Booty, who runs our first party studios organization, and myself. And they came with some options, the things that we could do, maybe parts of the game that we could ship on given days or given dates. And it just didn't feel to all of us like the Halo release that we would want. So in the end, I make the call based on the information that they present. I make a call, like I said, with hopefully the best intent for in the long run for our fans and our platform. Made the decision. And one of the things that pushed us is, when you're shipping a game like Halo, it's not just a solo release. We have a lot of marketing partners and promotions that are out there, and you want to be respectful of your partners and giving them a heads up so that they can plan their timelines for things that they're doing in conjunction with the launch of the game, which is part of the input as well. But in reality, when we know, let's make the decision, let's put it out so we're talking to our fans directly, be as transparent as we can be. It'll be not our favorite day, but we'll get through it. I've had bad days before. And move through it and keep working on the things that we love doing, which is building video games and delighting fans.
I know you don't want to get bogged down in the minutia, but the kind of the mechanics of making a decision this big and this significant are fascinating to me. How much time elapsed between you making the decision and the public being informed yesterday?
about final decision to when we talked about it, about 24 hours.
Okay, so pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things when I know, I've just learned in my time in this job that being open with our fans and not trying to, I'm not trying to deceive anybody. You know, when I know something and when we know something, let's get the news out there, and deal with it, because people are making business their own, you know, not business decisions, but life decisions on platforms they're going to buy, consoles they're going to buy, and yeah, I guess somebody else might have waited to announce it, but when we knew, I just Chris was put the blog together. I said, let's put it up, and we don't need to do it. It's not a lot of fanfare. Let's just move through it. The biggest thing for me was our internal teams and making sure that they felt supported in the decision. And while everybody was going to be disappointed, that our long-term goal is to deliver the best Halo game we've ever delivered, and let's keep that goal and do that when we can.